Hello everyone, this is Tanya from Professor Tanya Speaks, and today we're going to be looking at an example of a persuasive speech. So if you need to know what a persuasive speech could look like using the problem effect solution strategy, or if you want an example of a research speech, this is the perfect example. And this was done by my student Trisha about 2 years ago. She's now at SFU, but she was kind enough to send me her video as well as send the outline for it, which she has embedded, which is so exciting, really. I'm also excited because Trisha has remained an excellent student. She's now at SFU, but when she took 3 courses with me, she got A+, A+, and A. And needless to say, I'm very excited anytime I have a conversation with her. Now let's watch her persuasive
Guangdong,
speech.
China, 2011. A 2-year-old girl named Yue Yue was run over twice. This is what happened. How many do you think rushed to her aid? At least 18 people passed her by. They're skirting their vehicles or paths around her twitching body like a river around a rock. Passerbys would avert their eyes like she was an unsightly stain and pretend that they didn't hear her cries, her guttural cries of pain. Yuya died. This is the extreme end of a growing apathy in contemporary big city society towards strangers. And it's a result of how looking out for and keeping to yourself has become the cultural norm. I spent 17 years growing up in a city like this, and I thought this was totally normal until I came here to Canada. And research has shown me the truth. In big cities like Hong Kong, this apathy towards strangers is already terminal, and societies afflicted with this show horrifying symptoms of widespread individual loneliness. So when's the last time that you and everyone around you said thank you to the bus driver getting off? Because our Vancouver is not immune to this apathy towards strangers plague. Just 1 month ago, someone jumped in front of a SkyTrain, and someone had the reflexes to whip out their phone and catch it all on video, but not to save them. This slippery slope is why I'll be arguing in favor of the sustainability of friendliness to strangers. And I'll be outlining how this is a problem, why we can't afford to lose it by showing you the effects, and what we can do to stop it. So first I'll explain how this infection of apathy to strangers developed as a main cause of why friendliness to strangers is at an all-time low. Humans are social animals, and big city living has turned friendliness towards strangers into a violation of cultural norms, which isolates us from each other. The University of Miami had researchers who discovered that the larger our community becomes, the more people become strangers to us, and thus the less friendly and cooperative we are to other people. Big city society gives us a mask of anonymity. You might never see that stranger on the train ever again. And this leads us to believe that there are no benefits or social consequences to being nice to strangers. So we aren't, as their study showed. This crystallizes into this cultural norm that we have in big cities, how being friendly to strangers is seen as weird and unusual and creepy. And this contrasts a lot with the intimacy you get in small town living. In addition, some people might be tempted to point towards the correlation with the time you spend online and the loneliness, higher loneliness, as to why friendliness to strangers is at an all-time low. After all, like the person caught the SkyTrain video, we're online all the time to avoid the horrors of real-world interaction with strangers, right? But that's all they are, correlations. And that trend of big city apathy towards strangers and its consequent loneliness dated way back before technology was in such modern use. Now that we understand how it starts, let's talk about the resulting symptoms of this lack of friendliness to strangers. Oh crap, I missed the slide. Oh crap, I missed 2 slides. A big city is an ocean of millions of people, yet each person lives in a bubble of one. BYU and APA psychology professor Julianne Holt-Lundstad was the first to change the discourse of social connections and health, and the shocking results went way beyond just the emotional lows. Extreme societal loneliness has the same impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and loneliness leads to a 30% increased mortality rate of stroke and cardiovascular disease. Furthermore, our use of online technology has its own effects. If you use technology to create and enhance your relationships, then it reduces loneliness. But if you use it to withdraw from the social pain of interaction, then it worsens it. So, now that we know the symptoms, let's talk about how to avoid them. And I have a couple of suggestions of how we can start to sustain the friendliness to strangers again, so we can cure this problem before it starts. Society can only change if individuals take this initiative to do so, even if it seems completely small or inconsequential. Don't just make sure you thank the bus driver every time you get off. Actively use your P's and Q's to everyone, non-bus driving strangers included. And more importantly, don't be afraid to make friendly comments when you have something nice to say, because even the tiniest little compliment will make someone's day, I guarantee you. I'll give you a quick example. Just a couple of months ago, I was out doing errands, dressed up in the usual, and I saw this old white lady. She was staring at me and my clothes for like 5 minutes. So I just smiled at her, because she's appreciating it, right? She instantly comes over to me and starts gushing about how much she loves my clothes. And one thing she said stuck with me the most. She said, "I hope you know that you make everyone who sees you just a little more cheerful and happy. Keep spreading that joy." I can tell you that made my week, and I hope that our chat made her day. So let's now recap and wrap up. Big cities give you anonymity, and that causes us to turn off our friendliness to strangers. This leads to people feeling more alone than ever before, despite being surrounded by millions of people, which has negative impacts on our health. To address this, we should actively be more polite and be less afraid of making comments when you have something nice to say. So after everything I've told you today, our future might be looking pretty grim. But remember when I asked you at the beginning to guess how many people came to Yue's help? The truth is, there was one person who did. This elderly garbage scavenger woman she was the only one to pull Yue's battered body off of the road, find her family, and take her to the hospital, where she died 8 days later. She was rightfully hailed as a hero across the news. But if only one of those 18 people had shown just a little more compassion to their fellow stranger, maybe this story would have ended differently. So, to all of you, I just want to make it clear. You don't need to force conversation to happen. You just have to smile a little bit more. You don't need to materialize friendships out of thin air. You just have to share a few nice words. And you don't need to be a hero to stop the plague of apathy towards strangers. You just have to show a little gratitude, spread a little positivity, and do your part just a little better. Thank you.
So thank you for watching, and I hope that the requirements for the persuasive speech, or the requirements for a research speech, or the requirements for the sustainability speech are clear. Once again, I want to thank Trisha for being so kind and generous in sharing her work with you. So, until I see you in the next video, bye for now.